Dear friends, I thank all of you from the bottom of my heart for your incredible support. Without this human support, I would not have made it through the past 14 months. Just so that you get a better idea what exactly I am thanking you for, allow me to summarize the now visible facts, some of which are brand new, and check for yourselves. I'll first give you a summary of the show trial, and then I'll turn to the what is called white torture. First, the show trial. The criminal proceeding against me was, this much has been documented by the meticulous Germans, started by the highly controversial Inland Intelligence Service, the Constitutional Protection Agency, in August of 2021. The prosecution's file starts with the word corona. This is on a piece of paper stored in a plastic bag as page 1 of that file. It doesn't start with the word indicating crime, like fraud or embezzlement. No, it starts with the word corona. Over and over again, it is stated in that file that this case is about corona. One letter, for example, starts with the word corona-related, printed in bold letters, underlined, and with an exclamation mark. And it is also clear that the Inland Intelligence Service, CPA, Corona Protection Agency, is the agency in charge, and that no other inland public agency, that's what it says there, no other inland public agency has been informed about this case. Their first attempt at taking me down failed when a seasoned, experienced district attorney, who obviously wants to uphold the rule of law, took a close look at the file and at my work at the Corona Investigative Committee and declared, 1, the Corona Investigative Committee had done exactly what it had promised its donors to do, and it had done so extensively. And 2, there is no evidence of any criminal wrongdoing. She then had the file put into storage. This is on June 14th, 2022. She knew everything that is relevant now. She had looked at the work the Corona Investigative Committee had done, and she had seen the payments we had made to the translators, the film crew, the IT, and for communication with our viewers and donors, and she had seen our loans and the purchase of gold. She knew everything. 2.5 months after this first attempt had failed, the Constitutional Protection Agency got the 3 failed Berlin attorneys who had been infiltrated by an undercover agent of the CPA, a former member of the Berlin Parliament, to file a criminal complaint against me. 2 of these attorneys turned agents for the CPA had been for a short time substitute members of the Corona Investigative Committee after 2 scientists had decided they wouldn't want to join Vivian Fisher and me, who had founded the Corona Investigative Committee. These substitute members had never shown any interest in the Corona Committee's work, only in its. These 3 attorneys had met with Vivian Fisher for reasons that we do not yet know on August the 23rd of 2022. And on August the 26th, she, Vivian Fisher, gave them an email from me in which I explained, among other things, that I was now in the process of finalizing the long-planned sale of my house in Göttingen, because we had sold everything in Germany, for at least 1.3 million euros, and that part of this money would, as planned, be used to repay the loan. Vivian Fisher and I had both taken these loans from the Corona Committee in order to protect some of the donation money from imminent, this is clear from the file, from imminent seizure by the German government. As soon as the three attorneys turned undercover agents realized that I was in the process of paying the loan back, they filed their criminal complaint against me on September the 2nd. That's 2.5 months after the veteran district attorney had come to the conclusion that there was no evidence of any criminal wrongdoing. And in order to keep me from repaying the loan, they got ready to steal my money, that is the proceeds from the sale of my house, so that I wouldn't be able to repay the loan. And this was done this is shown in the file again, by their own emails, by defrauding and threatening my buyer. They got him to pay most of the purchase price, 1.59 million euros, to them instead of to me, as shown by their email. But it is also clear from the testimony of the notary public who was involved. This was done with the prosecution being fully informed about this felony. How can that be? Well, the Constitutional Protection Agency had made sure that the original prosecutor, the veteran DA who had refused to even start a criminal investigation because there was no evidence for criminal wrongdoing, would be sidelined and bypassed. For this purpose, they had a young and inexperienced puppet prosecutor by the name of John transferred from Hanover to Göttingen, where he immediately stepped in and intercepted the criminal complaint. There is a handwritten note in the file by the original seasoned district attorney that indicates that she would have once again refused to criminal investigation, just like 2.5 months before. The new prosecutor, by the name of John, refused to investigate anything, despite a note, which is also in the file, by a police officer that the authors of the criminal complaint, the 3 Berlin attorneys, and Vivian Fischer, should be questioned as witnesses. The prosecutor's task was reduced to getting me kidnapped from Mexico under the guise of a fake deportation or a fake extradition, and he was to take the criminal complaint and use it, even though everything in this is false, for an indictment. In early 2024, it became clear, even for the court, that the criminal complaint contained only falsehoods. The courts couldn't ignore the fact that I, like all the other directors of the Corona Investigative Committee, had the power to make decisions on behalf of the Corona Committee without having to first confer with the others. That means that the loans Vivian Fischer and I had taken to protect some of the money were absolutely okay under the so-called business judgment rule, especially so because, as the court also recognizes, I had always been both willing and able to repay the loan. And the court also realizes that I would have repaid the loan had the 3 government agents not stolen it, or stolen the money. As a consequence of this disaster for the prosecution, the court, advised or ordered by the CPA, as a whistleblower told one of my attorneys, invented new charges. This was on May the 3rd of 2024. The loan contract, which exists in writing and which had been filed openly and transparently in the books of the Corona Committee, didn't matter anymore. Instead, the presiding Judge Schindler now accuses me of having violated a secret trust agreement, an agreement that neither exists in writing, nor was such an agreement ever discussed by anyone. And nobody knows when this agreement was entered into, nor what it says or who is bound by it. And just to play it safe, the court ordered that the defense would not be given the opportunity to refute these new shady allegations by hearing witnesses who would show that no other agreements, nothing but the loan contracts, were ever entered into. Keep in mind, though, that it is not the defense that has to disprove those new charges, but it is the prosecution that has to prove them. But the prosecution hasn't even amended their original indictment yet, and never even mentioned any such secret agreements. Let's now turn to the white torture. As now even the public has understood that this is a show trial without any criminal substance whatsoever to cover up the fact that it's about stopping my work exposing the pandemic, the court tried to exclude the public from the proceeding, violating basic principles of criminal procedure. As this didn't work as planned either, the Constitutional Protection Agency and the court, aided by the prison directors, has been subjecting me to numerous measures of what is called white torture. For the past 5.5 months, I've been held in solitary confinement. I'm put in chains and in shackles when they take me from prison to court and back, accompanied by heavily armed prison guards and police, and I'm warned each time I refuse to wear a bulletproof vest that a stray bullet may hit and kill me, and that will then be my problem. Well, not really. I keep telling them I'm a trial lawyer specializing in tort law, and you'll soon see who is really responsible. I was refused a last visit with my dying mother, and I was denied the right to join my family for her funeral, for her sea burial. The inmates, who I gave legal advice to because they were seriously beaten, one of them had his skull bashed in, the other one was sexually abused by the guards, were transferred to another prison so that they wouldn't be able to talk to me anymore. But it is clear, of course, that the real purpose of this is to cover up the scandalous conditions in this prison. In order to come up with some kind of explanation for these unjustifiable and inexcusable measures, fellow inmates were approached by leading prison personnel to tell them anything negative about me, and their signatures were forged. One of the inmates just told me this and has agreed to appear in court as a witness. An affidavit, which he hasn't signed yet, but which he has agreed to, is at my lawyer's office. But all of this is doomed to fail. Every day, more light is shed on the lies, and more of the truth comes to light. They can slow us down, but they cannot stop us anymore. There will be justice. There can be no doubt about this. The monsters are now on the run, but they cannot hide anymore. And that's what I thank you for, each and every one of you, both as a lawyer and as a human being. I thank you from the bottom of my heart. There's nothing more valuable than this human support.